Good evening and welcome to the Cricket Carnival right here on Music. I'm Rajiv Mukherjee. Yes, we're going to talk about the IPL over the next 30 minutes or so, but before that, there is another pressing, very urgent issue that we must bring up, we must talk about. The BCCI versus the Supreme Court appointed Committee of Administrators standoff over whether or not India is going to participate in the Champions Trophy. Joining me on the show right away, the batsman, the former Mumbai Ranji captain, and also somebody I regard on television as a batsman who can bat on all pitches. The one and only Shishir Hatangadi. Shishir, good evening. Welcome back to News X. I hope I can see you bright, cheerful and smiling. Let's get Shishir cracking immediately. Shishir, the story, or rather the point I'm going to talk about right now is the fact that certain disturbing reports, news reports across the websites and newspapers which are coming in. It seems that the BCCI suddenly is targeting the present Indian coach Anil Kumble. It seems not to be happy with what Anil Kumble they think has done. They are not happy with the fact that Kumble is spoken to the Committee of Administrators. What's going on? Are they going to find a scapegoat this time? And come on, I mean, who are the BCCI taking on? India's greatest match winner of all time.
If it was clear right from day one where Anil Kumble needed to go, or the team needed to go if they wanted clarity, it would have been much easier. But the fact is that everybody knows that the COA has the power and also a ear for what is happening, you know, whether there are payment issues, whether there are issues that players have to address. I just can't find any logic in the BCCI or anybody having a problem with Anil Kumble or anybody for that matter are they going to feel upset about the fact that Sachin Tendulkar has advocated India playing in the Champions Trophy? Are they going to undermine players like Rahul Dravid and Tendulkar who have spoken, and so many others who have spoken for India playing in the Champions Trophy? I think we must be beyond, and the BCCI must be beyond these feudal systems and in a sense the zamindari age of saying, my way or the highway. It's a democratic system, and if you disagree with someone, it doesn't mean that you don't like them. It's just that on definite issues, on issues that relate to the game of cricket, they may have a point of view. And one needs to respect that they've spent so much time on a cricket field to know that the problems that come up for cricket and cricketers. And this is something, the BCCI should be more open about and magnanimous about. Not start picking on little things, whether it's a Kumble. The BCCI should be more open about and magnanimous about. Not start picking on little things, whether it's a Kumble or anybody going to the COA. The COA is, after all, appointed by the Supreme Court, and I believe that they need to be involved while they have been appointed. In terms of giving players the flexibility and a door open to come and voice their issues.
Shishir, the trouble here is not with who else has spoken, because one of the news reports quotes an unnamed source, might I say, unnamed source like always, saying in the BCCI, and he's quoted, the gentleman is quoted saying, the likes of Tendulkar and Dravid have gone on record and said that they want India to play in the tournament. That is the way you do it. You should always be open about your opinion, happy to express it. How different is it from what Anil Kumble has allegedly done, as the BCCI is alleging through its back doors? What is wrong? He's the India coach. He has engineered one of India's best ever domestic season. We've seen some terrific results, and of course he wants the team to get cracking if they are to in any way defend the Champions Trophy. India are the defending champions. So what's wrong in him just conveying to the COA that we need perhaps more clarity, the players need to get ready? What's wrong with that? Why target that person? The reason I'm asking about Anil is for no other reason but the fact that the BCCI doesn't seem to be having any problems with Saurav Ganguly, who is the CAB chief in this instance, Sachin Tendulkar, who's the god of Indian cricket, I would say, Rahul Dravid, in India, under-19 India A coach. They seem to have no problems with those people, but when it comes to Anil Kumble, they seem to be upset with it. What is the reason?
Well, it's very simple, Sanjeev. If Kumble or anybody within the team management or the Indian team contracted with the Indian team, the senior team, had gone public, they would have said you're not supposed to be anti-establishment. And that is why, we have every reason to take action. The very fact that somebody has gone quietly and had a discussion, it doesn't suggest anything anti-establishment. It just suggests that you have a point of view, you have an opinion to voice, and you found an open door to go and say that, look, this is what we feel. Now, I think the BCCI should be above all this. They should be focusing on cricket, Indian cricket, rather than who says what. I can tell you one thing, if you go lock a door and you go into a players' dressing room and ask the players whether they'd like to play the Champions Trophy, 15 or all the players who are involved will probably say we want cricket to go on. But where is the BCCI listening to the players? They talk about organization and about creating wealth.
Yeah.
But I think wealth is created in an organization by its people, and the people are more important. The paying public is more important. The paying public brings you the money. We have to respect that. If you don't respect the paying public, you will be ignoring them and showing disrespect, and that is something you don't want to do, because they are the ones who have been responsible for the popularity of this great game of cricket, and don't undermine that. They are the ones who want cricket to go on. So, to my mind, I think the BCCI should respect that and not worry about little things like, the team management going and having a talk with anybody. They've not gone to somebody on the streets. They've gone to somebody who's authorized by the apex court and the committee to take decisions to hear out players. So that's fine by me.
Right, and when you talk about Shishir, the fact that when you talk about the establishment or the anti-establishment, where is the establishment in the BCCI? It's the Supreme Court appointed committee of administrators which is calling the shots and which is trying to clear up the administrative mess in the BCCI. And they should in fact be thankful to the likes of Anil, who've actually helped and guided Indian cricket, and the public's perception about cricket has not yet gone down because of the way the team has been performing with these champions and Anil being there at the helm of affairs.
Yes, and we know that it was a committee of cricketers that appointed Anil Kumble, Sanjeev. It was not the BCCI that appointed him.
Yeah.
It was a committee of cricketers that interviewed him.
Yeah.
And it was to my mind, that was the most sensible thing to do, because if they decided on picking Anil Kumble, there would have been very good reason to do so. And when you pick somebody, you've got to back him, you've got to believe in him, you've got to accept that he will come with his own plans, and he's going to be accountable for the job. So allow him to have a free hand, whether it means going and voicing an opinion, whether it means going and having a discussion. If you start playing, these little games behind closed doors and giving out bits and pieces to the media saying that they are not happy, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is Indian cricket, what he does for the Indian team, how how he conducts his role as a coach, mentor, whatever it is. These are issues that are more important than whom he's talking to and whom he's discussing the future of Indian cricket. Yeah. I think it's irrelevant for them. They need to worry about his role as an Indian cricket coach, and that's something he's doing very well.
Right, and one needs to remember that whichever way the story pans out, and whatever the BCCI might be thinking, or even for that matter, the COA, we do not know who will have a change of heart when, because when it comes to cricket, you never know till the next ball is bowled, I would say. There's no point in trying to point fingers at people, or rather legends like Anil Kumble, who have not only been for Indian cricket, but for the world cricket, one of the tallest statesmen of this entire game. So we'll rest the case as of now. We'll keep a close eye on it. But Shishir, quick word, what are you expecting from tomorrow's high-powered special general body meeting? The fear of a pullout is still very much there. What are you expecting? Are you also traveling to Delhi to perhaps keep a closer eye, if I could say, on the SGM, Shishir?
Very soon, I might be there, you never know. But, Sanjeev, it's going to go to the third umpire. This is not a match that will be decided by...
Is this going down to the wire? Is this going down to the wire?
There is the BCCI and there is the COA.
No, is this going down to the wire, Yashir?
To the wire,
yeah?
And to the third umpire. And
wire or the third umpire?
It will go down to the wire, but to the third umpire.
It will go down to the wire,
but to the third umpire. If I have my calculations right, there...
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
So basically, Shishir Hatangadi is doing what he does best, playing around with words. Let's leave it at that for this point of time and get back to the game, which I'm sure all of us would be more interested in talking about. The scores are not yet in for me, and my producer is just informing me that Jaydev Unadkat has got a hat-trick in the final over, which means that Rising Pune Supergiants have literally clipped the Sunrisers Hyderabad's wings, if I could say. Like, come on, you can have to, excuse me, this is IPL lingo, which means the Rising Pune Giants have put it across the Sunrisers Hyderabad and have won a very important game. Opening comments from you, Shishir.
Commendable because in this game, if there was an underdog team, it was the Rising Pune, and the fact that they were playing away from home, they were playing in the fortress of Sunrisers was, they were against all odds, and the fact that this win would have got them right on top. They would be in the top 2 now, if I'm not mistaken, which means the psychological edge of winning this game is huge for the Pune team. They've had a rough time at the start of the season. They've had issues with injury. They've had issues now with players not being available. But now what you see is a team that is playing as a cohesive unit, a team that believes in themselves, and the fact that they are going away from home and winning games. And today's game it wasn't a big total. It was a modest. I think I'd like to say it was below par in a sense, 149. So to be able to defend that on foreign land, if I may call it a foreign land, and to ensure that they could come out with a win will give them a lot of confidence, and of course make sure that now in the business end of the tournament, or at the business end of the tournament, they are in a better psychological frame of mind to believe that they can qualify for the playoffs. And if they can do that, then it's anybody's game, as you and I know. We've sat down and discussed this in the past, and we've always been proved fools. So this is something that I'm very happy in terms of the competitiveness of the IPL, that the underdog, the David Goliath game has come about again, and that is something you want in the IPL. It's been a great game of cricket, but I think on paper Sunrisers were always the better side, but it's good to see the underdog come and you overpower them in their own bastion.
Right, Shishir, interestingly, I would say 2 old dogs, in the sense 2 old faces of Indian cricket doing pretty well for their respective teams, but with contrasting fortunes tonight. MS Dhoni coming in at a very crucial stage for the Pune side, getting 30-odd runs with 2 big hits, 2 sixes and 2 boundaries, and that sort of got them to where they were, 148. Yuvraj Singh also playing a pretty good knock, which would be termed a okay knock, because towards the end he perhaps was failing to get it across. He started off pretty well, got 47 odd runs, but after Yuvraj's wicket, if you look at it, Shishir, the follow wickets, not a single batsman got to double digits. Contrasting fortunes there for Yuvraj, and not a single batsman got to double digits. Contrasting fortunes there for Yuvraj and Dhoni.
Yeah, contrasting fortunes, but also, Sanjeev, the pitch was a bit sluggish. If a David Warner opening the batting cannot time it as he's known to time the ball, you've got to say that the pitch played a little unfair on the players. But it was probably the way the home team wanted it, because that was their only chance. And sometimes it backfires on you. When you go ahead and make plans to suit your strengths, it can backfire. It backfired today because, like you rightly said, those 31 runs from Mahendra Singh Dhoni were crucial, very, very crucial in the context of the game. Yes, he did get out when there were 5 balls to go, but at the same time, those 31 runs at the end of the day put them in a position from where they could sort of defend and at least put up a fight. And 2 wickets in the power play always help, and that's what they did. They managed to bring the run rate down by picking up wickets.
Yeah.
It's a simple game after all, isn't it? I mean, you pick up wickets and you can restrict teams, but not as easy said as done.
Not as easy said as done. I know Shishir always, whenever he watches IPL or talks about IPL, I guess he itches to get back to his playing days perhaps, and would have fancied himself a chance of playing in T20 cricket. But Shishir, one quick word about Unadkat. Of course, they were in a difficult position, but he returns with figures of 5 for 30, 4 dot balls and a hat-trick in the final over. That's some bowling in T20, because after all, whenever we talk about T20, we talk about the big sixes, the maximums, etc., etc. But here is a guy who comes up, not that many runs to defend also in a final over in T20. It could go either way. 4 dot balls, 3 wickets, and a hat trick to go with that. That's something.
Absolutely, and say somebody like Unadkat has been on the fringe. He's been, he's been out of Indian cricket, but he's been definitely in the circuit of the IPL. Somewhat born into oblivion in the context of Indian cricket. But these performances are going to be over a period of time be noticed. And young players like him, Siddharth Kaul, they're being empowered with responsibility. That's what's good to see. They are not somebody who just making the 11 because they have no choices. They're being selected and given a role that and empowered with a role that they're trying to execute, and this is good to see. Sometimes even foreign captains appreciate that you have Indian players on the team who can do the job, and I think the success of this year's IPL is to see Indian players being empowered. A lot of players like Siddharth Kaul, like Unadkat, they are coming up and putting their hands up, as they say, in T20, and good to see that they are able to sort of chalk out and check a win for each of their franchises in sticky situations. Something good for Indian cricket.
Something good for Indian cricket. It's time to head into a break, but quickly before that, Shishir, like every year, I can see something sticking out of your pocket. So tell us, going by the color which is blue, who are you rooting? Yes, who are you rooting for? Is it for the Mumbai Indians, or are you just remembering one of your earlier favorite teams, the Rajasthan Royals?
Not here till next year, so we'll have to wait. How can you ask a Mumbaikar at heart and in soul not to support his team?
ये IPL है बॉस, यहाँ पे सब चलता है.
I mean, come on.
Shishir, I've learned this line from you. ये IPL है बॉस, यहाँ पे सब चलता है. On that note, Shishir Aldangadi, stay right there. We're going to come back and grill you a little bit more and have a little bit more fun. Remember, this is the Cricket Carnival right here on Music. Stay right. Welcome back to the Cricket Carnival. Before we talk about talk of the Delhi Daredevils versus Mumbai game, let's talk about the last night's star performer, the man who did the star turn for the Kings 11 Punjab, none other than Akshar Patel, coming into bat at number 7. He scored a quick fire 38 of just 17 balls, and then in his 3 overs took 3 for 11. Literally broke the back of the RCB, who literally failed to perform to their potential, and they just cannot seem to get back to their winning ways, even though they have already lost all chances of qualifying for the playoffs. So Akshar Patel doing the star turn there for Kings 11 Punjab. All right, let's get back to Mumbai, and the man from Mumbai is also there. Shishir Aldangadi, if I can get you back on screen. Your team, as you said right before the break, that's the cue I gave you, Shishir. Delhi versus Mumbai. Zaheer Khan, I believe, is fit and fine. He's back in the captaincy, Shishir. Delhi's won the toss and have opted to bowl first. So tell us, what do you think? How do you set this up here?
Well, going through the team sheets in the break, I realized that, as much as I am supporting this team here, it's going to be a much more well-contested game for 2 reasons. They've lost a few players. That key player at the top of the order, Joss Butler, for Mumbai, is going to affect them, because they got in somebody who's not played all season, Lendl Simmons, from what I read. Now that's a big blow, because Joss Butler was providing you the impetus. He was able to sort of penetrate into the opposition, if I may say that, in a more attacking way.
And Mr. Singh is back. Harbhajan Singh is back too.
Over the years, their opening partnerships didn't help them.
Shishir, Harbhajan Singh is back too for Krunal Pandya.
Yeah, and I hope he's come back by the airline he loves so much.
I hope
Harbhajan
is all ready.
That he loves so much. But
go ahead.
He'll be ready. He's a top-class performer. But you see, Krunal Pandya again is a man in form. He's a man in form. He's unfit for this game. He's contributed impressively in this tournament, as a left-arm spinner, as a batsman in the field. So they're going to miss these two players who are very, very important to the way they've performed in this season. For Delhi Daredevils, obviously, Morris not being there is going to be a blow to them, because he's a game changer. But chasing, and after seeing the performance, encouraging performance of the young lads for Delhi last game, I think I have reason to believe that if they can restrict Mumbai well, they are in with a chance. But if you ask me, if they can restrict Mumbai well, they are in with a chance. But if you ask me, I'll still support Mumbai. I mean, that's nothing to do with the way I'm analyzing the game.
Right. We started the show talking about how the BCCI perhaps was unfairly targeting Anil Kumble through hushed murmurs distributed, conveniently across the certain sections of the media. Let's talk about his compatriot as we close the show. Rahul Dravid perhaps would be waiting for Delhi to do well because Delhi, it's sort of a must-win. Shishir, they have to win 3 of their 4 games, and it starts from here to still stay in contention to enter the playoffs.
Yes, and it's good sometimes to know where you stand. There's no ifs and buts. There's no grey areas for Delhi now. They have to win, and they're good at it. They've given enough signals to say that they're cage tigers, and they want to get out of the cage, and the only way to get out is to start winning, and they're doing it. The question is, your question about Rahul Dravid, sometimes I feel bad for backroom team staff and coaches and managers, because there's very little we can do. I mean, look at the RCB team. They've tried everything to keep everything, as they say, simple. They've tried to go through their processes, but when shit hits the ceiling, it does, and you can't do much. You may have the greatest side, but it doesn't work. Similarly, Delhi, when they were struggling, I mean, I guess Rahul is a balanced coach also. He doesn't put himself as a player now. He would have tried just to do everything correctly and put the processes right. But it's up to the players to go and perform. And ever since the youngsters started performing, to give Rahul his due, he's empowered a lot of these batting youngsters to say, go out and play your game, it's free. But they've finally started getting it right. And when they've got it right, because their strength is in the younger batsmen, and when they've got it right, they've annihilated oppositions, which is something you want.
Are you worried about a Rishabh Pant storm, as Virendra Sehwag had earlier tweeted, in Mumbai tonight, Shishir?
Yeah, but I want to see him play well. I want to see him. I mean, we Mumbai guys are very gracious. Even if we want a team to win, we want to see good cricket. And who doesn't want to see a talented young player? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I give it to you.
He entertained us in his last innings. Yeah. I'd like to see him make an impact, because I think he's just on the periphery of an Indian selection, and one performance. If the BCCI permits India to go to the Champions Trophy, he could be in the side.
Yeah, I hope he's certainly knocking on the right doors. He's certainly caught the attention of coach Anil Kumble. And Shishir, it's good to see the gracious side of you. You've always been a gracious gentleman. Remember, former Mumbai Ranji captain. Mumbai, they won the Ranji Trophy 41 times. The combined aggregate of all of the teams winning the Ranji Trophy is only one more. Just imagine that. So Shishir has to be gracious. Mumbaikar saying that, okay, I'll be happy to see Rishabh Pant perform well. But it's good also to remember Shishir is coming to Delhi soon to join us here in the NewsX studios. That does it for me on this show tonight. Thanks for watching. The news is up next. Keep watching. This is NewsX.